Hello, everyone, and welcome to our flock. And we are so excited today to have our beautiful, beautiful guest on. And she is, she's just a light. I mean, look at her. She's just shining through the camera. And, I'm so blessed that I met Terah back in 20. Oh gosh. Oh no, I got to rethink this. 1999. Oh my goodness, right? 1999. So I had the calling back in 1996, and all kinds of synchronistic events led me to this beautiful woman who is the founder of the Western School of Feng Shui. And I was blessed to be a student in 1999 in the year 2000. And I am now an essential feng shui practitioner. And also, it just kind of grew and grew as feng shui does. And I was able to later on become the Canadian representative for the Western School of Feng Shui. And Terah honored me with facilitating her curriculum so that we could continue to pass on the teachings of Feng Shui. And that's how Cheryl Visco came into the picture, who is my Feng Shui partner that way.
That's which way you're looking. We'll just go both directions.
Anyways, it's all good. So Terah, I mean, you are just, you're just an incredible mentor. I'm again blessed to call you my friend. And I know that you have had an incredible feng shui journey. And of course, that's why we brought you on today. And we want to hear some of those stories that people might not otherwise hear. And I remember you telling us a story, maybe it was in our classroom, I believe it was, where when you started teaching feng shui, you had, an opportunity to have a live classroom, and, there was somebody that showed up as a guest, and, that person was a catalyst into helping you publish how many books now? How many feng shui books? Six? Six. Yeah. Wow. So you want to tell us that story? You want to tell us that little story?
Yeah, because I think it's a great story about how the mind can get all busy about things. So after learning feng shui and beginning to really practice it, one of the things that happened that was profound for me is I turned from a very shy violet who would absolutely die thinking I had to sit in front of or stand in front of a group, to a passionate woman who had a message that I really wanted to share. And it shot me out of my shy violet-dom into actually being willing to stand up in front of a group and talk about feng shui. So I was reveling in that I had actually transformed my inner being by the fire that I felt for the subject. So I had an opportunity to give a lecture at a massage school. And it was in the evening, and people are coming in, and I realized that there's going to be 5 people that are coming to the lecture. And my mind says, why am I talking to just 5 people? And, and I'm monitoring this also and going, really, it could be one person, Terah. You're judging the size of the group, and that's probably not ideal. So I let it go. I gave my lecture to those 5 people. It was a beautiful evening. And one of those 5 people was Louise Hay. Wow. And I didn't know. Actually, when she came in, she looked super familiar to me. I was pretty sure I knew who it was. And I also knew she lived in the area. And so, but I wasn't sure, and I was into my lecture. So after the lecture was over, she comes boiling up to me and goes, oh my God, I want you to come up and do my whole house. I want you to come up in 2 weeks because I'm going to be done with my kitchen renovation by then. And I want you to come up. I've got one room in particular that I really want you to look at and help me with. And was like, whoa. So sure as can be, in 2 weeks, she called me and said, okay, time to come up. Done with the last project. Get your butt up here. And so I go in, and the one room that she wanted to work with was this beautiful sort of a second living room, a den living room. And it had a really spectacular garden view. She was a spectacular gardener. And so this view was amazing. And when I looked at the room, I could see that it was dull, right? It wasn't flowing. And it was the kind of room that immediately I said, Louise, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the entire room at a diagonal. We're going to turn, so you got a square room, and now all your furniture is going to be slotted in here at the diagonal. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it now. So, of course, as we all know, I'm part furniture mover.
Yeah.
And so, we're lugging and pushing and pulling, and we get that whole room at the diagonal, and it just went, oh. That room started singing, and she was just the happiest person. And that's what really started us off, was putting that room at a diagonal. And then, it goes on from there. But she just loved it.
What an incredible story. I just love that story.
That is
and
cool.
And often Cheryl and I, when we are doing workshops, Cheryl will remind me. She'll say, remember,
Terah's
one
story,
person could be
people
in the room. And she reminds me of that story. And and I just think, what a blessing that you were able to have that great kinship with Louise Hay all of those years, and that she asked you to write a book. She was the one that prodded you to write your very first book on the topic of Feng Shui, because she said, hey, look, I want to publish a Feng Shui book, so you might as well do it. So what an incredible story.
She had a great way with words. She was super direct, super boom, man, mincing no words. And she called me early one morning, early for me. She's a lark. She was a lark. I'm an owl. And she goes, all right, Terah, I've decided I'm going to publish a book on Feng Shui, and you have first crack at it. Yes or no? And I went, okay, great. I'll set you up. You're going to be in here within a week. We're going to get you a contract, blah, 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 blah. That was just it. Boom. Wow. I never thought about writing a book. Seriously, it wasn't on a vision board. It wasn't right. It was not in here as a thing I wanted to do.
Wow. Very cool. What a cool story. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, Terah. So we know that adult part of you, but we all started somewhere. So can you share with us a little bit about growing up and your family and what that was like?
Well, I was definitely the odd duck. I think that a lot of the people that I've had the privilege to interact with throughout all the years of teaching Feng Shui, I often find myself in the presence of people very much like me who, I didn't quite fit into the cultural norm of the time. And I was born in the 50s, and I just was this sensitive, skinny, little person, very, very, very shy. And, really kind of had to find my way without a lot of direction, because the direction I was receiving did not resonate. And I think you guys can, you get it, right? I also was the girl, and I mean, I was just a little rail. It was just skin and bones. And I knew how to move all of my bedroom furniture by myself. I became an expert in leverage, and I'd get my feet and my legs involved, and I'd move that canopy bed and that all that heavy, what is it, early American oak furniture around because I had it in my soul. I didn't know what to call it. And I hear this from so many people who've studied that they were the same kid. And my mother would always get me to arrange the food on the plates when she was having company, because I had a knack, and to arrange the flowers and to make everything pretty. It just was, it's in my spirit to do that. And I find this over and over again. However, I didn't fit in as far as like being a nurse, a stewardess, a teacher, you know, of elementary school kind of teacher person. I couldn't find my place until I was introduced to massage, and I became a holistic health practitioner and, you know, studied that for a long time, which gave me the chance to be kinesthetic, be in the presence of healing energy, begin to really feel what it's like to be part of the healing process of other people, to hold space, to not be judgmental, to let people go at their own pace of healing. All of those lessons came to me when I was practicing physically with human, or, you know, with people rather than environment. So when I met my primary Feng Shui teacher, Dr. Richard Tan, he was also an acupuncturist. And when he said these words, "Your home is your environmental body," I would have fallen off my chair if there had been room. It was the most profound moment of my life. I went, this is it. I found it. I found it. It was in my late 30s at the time. So, you know, we all have these amazing trajectories, and I'm extremely grateful that I was dragged. I was, by the way, dragged to that lecture with Dr. Richard Tan, because I thought, oh, for goodness sake, well, I don't know what this Feng Shui stuff is, but
Feng Shui.
You know, I had tried to read about it. It was way too complicated. It was just not making sense. But Richard Tan spoke about it in this clean, clear, beautiful way, and click.
Wow. And you know, there are so many similarities. I mean, I know that you also spent some time, you know, being a florist, as I did, and so I think, like you say, there are so many similarities in the students that you attract to the Western School of Feng Shui, and of course, then that, you know, go on to become essential Feng Shui practitioners, and just spreading that beautiful passion and light and bringing awareness to the home environment, and that it's, you know, can be a source of empowerment. And I love that. And you're celebrating 25 years of the Western School of Feng Shui.
Wow.
Like, holy Hannah, you know, like, wow.
I know. No one's more surprised than me.
Yeah. You know, that's amazing. And I'm curious, you know, how many, because we know the power of Feng Shui personally, and we know from working with so many clients that, you know, when we start, it just ripples out into the world. And so I can only imagine how many people's lives that you have impacted that you'll never meet, obviously, but, you know, how many students have come through the Western School of Feng Shui, approximately?
We're over 2,000 now. I don't know the exact number. We have about 1,500 graduates, and then we have a balance of people who did the coursework, and for whatever reason, you know, they chose not to go through the final phase of doing their final projects and officially becoming an essential Feng Shui practitioner. But we have a lot of people, especially at the beginning of the school, that came just because they really wanted to know how to do their own home. Mm-hmm. They didn't really want to practice outside of their own space. As time has passed, I think, there's been so many world changes. People are now taking it more and more seriously as a career.
Yeah.
As a real choice to either blend and meld with their interior design or architecture or landscape design, or, then we start reaching out into healthcare. But to either blend it into what they're already great at or actually start their own consultancy.
Nice. Yeah. And I can, like I say, I can only imagine of those 1,500 certified essential feng shui practitioners that are practicing all over the globe, how many lives that they have impacted. And so you really, you really are a blessing to this world. And I know that so many people, and I want to thank them for, thank you for them that you followed, you followed your path, you followed those whispers, that intuition, that, your calling, because so many times, and especially, being shy, you could have easily have just said, no, right? And it takes courage and it takes a lot of determination. So, we're all blessed by you and by your actions. So thank you for that. Yeah.
It has been a wild ride and profound. I mean, yeah, just now that I'm at the place where I am, and I am in a much more relaxed lifestyle, which I have carefully sculpted and honed and polished and brought into being, because there were years where I was working too hard for what worked best for me. And I needed to do a lot of my own personal balancing. Louise had a great saying that she used all the time: we all bless and prosper each other. And I feel that way about you, Anita, and you, Cheryl, that we all bless and prosper each other. And I know it's a unique use of the word prosper. She was all about taking language and doing interesting things with it, right?
Yeah.
So we do that. We do that in our circle of belonging, in our kindreds. We attract to ourselves our kindreds, and we make each other stronger.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's because it kind of just almost weaved in there. Now that you're in this more relaxed, handcrafted life, what do you do for fun? What really gets your juices going?
Oh my gosh. Well,
what have we got to look forward to?
Girl. Huh?
I said, what have we got to look forward to?
Oh, well, the way that I love to live life is just being a nature girl. And fortunately, I'm married to a man who also loves nature just as much as I do. So we make a daily practice out of walking in the woods and or going to the beach. We are living in coastal Oregon, where we have access to absolutely incredible nature of all kinds. And so that's what I do for fun. I mean, I feel like my whole life has become fun, because I don't work enough for it to stop being fun. When I started 25 or 30 years ago, that it was fun. And then I arced into saying yes to so many things and being pushed to get so much done on deadline that it wasn't fun anymore. And, that's a really interesting thing that I think we all go through as humans, is how do we maintain balance? And that's going to always be changing, just like everything else. But I really left that thought behind, and I just was in a sea of work. And so now I'm not again, and I'm back into the fun. I love to cook. I love to hang out. I love to do absolutely nothing.
Which is an art in itself, because so many of us, seriously, we get downtime and we feel guilty that we're not being productive. Well, I can speak for myself. I could be doing this and this and this. No, I could actually just sit here and be.
there is such wisdom in being self-aware enough to notice just what you just said, Cheryl. I'm sitting here, I'm supposedly relaxing, but my brain is saying, well, come on and do. And it's, you know, bringing that all back into balance and saying, yeah, sure, we're going to get to it. But I also want to take the next hour to just watch the birds or, you know, look at the beauty that's surrounding me, whatever that is. So it's a huge study, I feel, because everybody has their own particular balance with work, rest, and play, I like to say, you know, and then that's always changing. I'm now a senior. And so I don't even feel drawn to doing the same things I did 20 years ago.
Right.
So my rhythm has changed, and we all have that. And that's what I think is so beautiful about human life. We can never staple it down. It doesn't, it's, you know, it's always changing and moving, and it's alive. And, you know, if we work too hard, then that gets connected to the fact that we don't feel well for a week. Everything's connected. And so we're just a puzzle. We're always working, you know?
I love that work, rest, and play, right? Finding that balance. And, you know, we're always, I think, trying to get to that balance, whatever works for us in that moment, right? And so Feng Shui, I know, has definitely played a huge role in that for myself personally. And I know Cheryl as well. Cheryl, do you have any other questions for our beautiful guest?
I've had the pleasure of working with you a little bit, not as long as Anita. And you've had some interesting careers over the years. Do you care to share any of those careers and stories with us? Because the one totally blew me out of the water.
Well, like, which one are you thinking about right now?
When you worked for the woman that was a channel.
Oh, we're going way back. Okay. Yeah.
But really, she was way ahead of the curve, as you are with Feng Shui. So to me, she was almost like, okay, if she's doing this now, it's like Anita studying Feng Shui in 1999 when you couldn't even get a book in Canada.
Right.
So like a trailblazer, she was a trailblazer that led to you being a trailblazer. And I'm seeing it leading to Anita to be a trailblazer. And it's like, okay, this is kind of a cool chain of events here. So please share that story. I think it's so cool.
You know, as I had shared before, being, you know, a person that didn't quite fit into the cultural norm, I was forever looking for a way to engage myself in work that I could stand, that I could actually do without getting sick or, you know, freaking out for some reason. You know, so when I met this woman, she was looking for a secretary. And I thought, well, I could check that out. I mean, I could sit with someone doing channeled readings all day. And I was very, very good. I had great penmanship. This was back in the day. So I could write down what she was saying. I had my own shorthand. And we were just a beautiful team. So I would record the sessions. I just sat there as her little secretary. And it was extremely perfect. I was a perfect match for that particular kind of work. I learned a lot from her because she was, she channeled a lot about Tibet and Egypt. And so I learned about the Temple of the Red Dragon and various things that were going on in the past. It seemed that she attracted people who had specific lives in those particular spots. And then there were many other stories from many other places, but we kept coming back to, it's almost like she kept attracting to herself the Tibetan monks and lamas from other lives who were now this was in the Washington, D.C. area. So now they're all back doing American stuff. And she was helping them figure out, you know, how the wisdom that their soul had accumulated from that time in Tibet could be activated in their current lives.
Wow. So that likely was, again, you know, part of the master plan, because, you know, everything is divine timing. And that was, you know, you were probably, without even realizing at the time, you were probably like the Tibetan monk, in that you were assimilating all that information as part of your journey, your quest, right?
Yeah, it was, to me, incredibly interesting. And I think for a lot of people, it would have just been like, what the heck is going on here? I mean, my God. And I'm like eating it up, you know? So.
Well, you know, we have come a long ways, haven't we? Although, you know, we still do encounter people that think, you know, they go feng shui, right? What the heck is that? Is that where you put your toilet lid down? Or, you know, so, you know, we are evolving in the world of spirituality and enlightenment. And it's because it really is because of people like you, Terah, like Cheryl said, who, you know, you blaze the trail. And so we are truly, truly grateful.
Well, thank
anything
you.
else anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, I definitely want to acknowledge that you guys are trailblazers also. And anytime we're opening up corridors that have been a little shadowy or hidden or misunderstood, and that once you get the light and the air and the beauty into that particular corridor, there is so much magic and so much glory really to discover there. And you are doing it too. I think that we're all souls who really, all I'm interested in is harmony in the world. I love creating harmony. I love co-creating harmony. I love collaborating in any way, shape, or form, with that being the goal. And you know, if we talk even multidimensional, I've been very aware that as we bring feng shui principles into people's homes and lives, and we elicit their genius, and we show them how to open their feng shui eyes, that our world is becoming more harmonious, and therefore more almost like the fifth dimension as opposed to the third dimension. So we're getting the polarities, the big no's, the big ooze out of people's spaces. And when we remove either the mediocrity or the negativity from their environmental body, then they are able to prosper like no other time in their lives, move forward, create harmony in their own personal lives, ripple, 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 ripple. So I would say that the three of us are all completely, we are those people. We are those people. We are the helpful people.
Yeah.
We've chosen it. We've chosen it, and we're doing it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay.
So what does just a last note, what do we have to look forward from Terah? So do you have anything in the works right now? Do you, besides being your magnificent self?
What I find is so fun and delicious to me is doing a lot of coaching. I do coaching calls that stem directly out of the Western School of Feng Shui. Those conversations are absolutely off the charts, amazing, because they are the same. They're from the same basket of souls that we're from. You know, they're the Feng Shui students or alumni of the school. And so it's my current way of contributing is more yin than perhaps it has been in the past. And it feels like incredible ripples of harmony go out in every direction, as we have a caller from Norway, a caller from Canada, a caller from South America, a caller from India, and we're globally talking the same language and taking the universal principles of harmony out into every country in the world.
Wow.
Love that.
So, that's what I'm doing.
Well, you just
do
keep
it so
on
well.
doing it. And, we are, again, Terah, we really, we honor and bless you. We love you. We thank you for sharing your time, your stories with us today and with our circle, our sacred circle. As we're just, building the chi, we're just rippling that beautiful energy out into the world. So again, thank you very much for being our beautiful guest today. And we'll do it again.
I'm up for it. I just, nothing better than hanging out with my sisters.
Yay. Okay. Love it.
Oh, thank you so much, Terah.
Well,